Hi-ho, adventurers. Who's there? Megaleech and Alexander. Hello. Doing my standard. I thought I'd be ready at the start of the stream, and I'm not. Going to make a short video. Let's get ready before I start recording. Alright. Tequila. Right. Pour out the tequila. Love that tequila aroma. Okay. Oh, let's see, who else is here? Justin and Strictly Sega. Hello, hello, hello. Simon Crean died. That seems young. The fuck was that? Oh shit. Is it on fucking pictures? No, what the fuck? Video, why the fuck is it doing that to me? Okay, well that was fucking weird. Why did you do that? One dash of orange bitters. Okay. Which glass will I use? This one, I think. Okay. Need to put ice in there. Oh, it's got a bit of zing. Just make sure of that. It's in a good spot. Fuck it. The fucking strainer. God damn it. Annoyed with myself for forgetting something. Okay, you go off. Alright, good God. Put that down over there. Was Crean 74? I had no idea he was that old. That's like literally more than 10 years older than I thought he was. Still a little bit young. Not super young, but a little bit young. Okay. Now, let me put these lids back on. We'll do a photo. Oops, I forgot. Put my garnish in. Take a little photo of that. Get my shit together. Do this. Alright, that'll do. You go back around there. Alright, almost done. Like 2 minutes, probably. Like I said, just preserve my ice for now. Okay. Huh. Okay. Get some shit sorted. Alright, let's... Fuck, I just remembered something. Too late. Let's go wide. That's about right. That is about right. Okay, that's ready. Yes, now let this thing adjust for me. Okay. G'day, cocktail lovers. This is... I was going to say the wrong thing. G'day, cocktail lovers. This is a midnight bouquet. And it's an interesting middle ground between like a tequila old-fashioned and a... Oh, fucking shit, words. G'day, cocktail lovers. This is a midnight bouquet. And it's in an interesting halfway space between like a tequila old-fashioned and a tequila Manhattan variation. It's also got a little mezcal, which always brings a nice smoky note. Oh, that's got some great flavors in here. Let me show you how to make it. In our mixing glass, we put 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of añejo tequila. We follow that with 1/4 ounce, about 7.5 mils of mezcal. Then we do 3/4 ounce or around 22.5 mils of an Amaro. And then we do 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of... Then we do 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of an elderflower liqueur. Final touch, 1 dash of orange bitters. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then strain it into a chilled coupe. I added an orange peel as a garnish, and you get this beautiful clear drink, and it tastes great, it looks good. Give yourself a midnight bouquet. Cheers. Ugh. Okay, stumbled through it in the end. Hey, good spirit. It has been a while. How have you been? I have been fine, thank you. I'm just making a cocktail video. Only took me a bit over 2 minutes. I did kind of promise 2 minutes for that. I may or may not make another video this stream. I haven't decided yet. I don't really need to, but if I don't do another one tonight to get ahead, puts a bit more pressure on me on Tuesday. But I'm a tough guy. I can handle pressure. Yeah, I can. Oh, I don't know. This is a pretty classy looking drink, actually. Tastes good too. I like that it looks kind of classy. That is actually quite good. About an 8 out of 10. Suffering boy blindness. Yes. Okay. Where are my cherries? I thought they were here. They're behind my glass. What a gosh darned idiot. Now, my accountant promised me getting my business tax return on Tuesday. Tuesday. Hanging out for that because I'm going to go absolutely feral retail therapy wise. Because I've been under pressure for like a month or two. Because I'm going to turn off this banner for a start. This surreal situation where I had to pay the tax department some money. This is stuff that hung over from when, like, I stopped contracting a year ago, but there's just some hangover stuff from it. So I had to pay the tax department a big chunk of money, like $6,000-$7,000, and lodge some paperwork. But then after, a delay, I get it back in a return, which is just weird how the system works. So I had to take money out of my savings and I get it back in the savings and not be stressed about money and treat myself for being a fiscally responsible citizen by being fiscally irresponsible. Or as I like to put it, being a champion of small business. Yeah, just going for it. I already basically know what I'm going to do. Slightly excessive, what I want. Not hugely excessive. Like I'm not spending thousands of dollars. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. That would be irresponsible. And I'm only mildly irresponsible as opposed to extremely irresponsible. So yeah, even if I spend a couple $100, I kind of feel like, oh god damn, that's going a bit far. But I'm going to. And it's going to be good. Man, elderflower makes everything good. In cocktail circles, elderflower liqueur is often referred to as the bartender's tomato sauce. Well, yeah, they say bartender's ketchup, but do we say ketchup? No, we do not. But it's bartender's tomato sauce because you put it on anything to make it taste better. And that just has a little bit in there. And that Amaro and the little bit of mezcal in there, they're actually all playing together really well. And it's yummy. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good, quite honestly. Really enjoying that. Definitely an 8 out of 10. Would do it again. It also just makes me think like, man, I need to start up a website. I need to start my blog up again and use the angryaussie.com domain and actually keep a track of all these things that I like. I put things up there and then give them a real score out of 10 so I know what I rate them as. And I think I could use tags because it's a WordPress blog. I think I could use tags in WordPress to sort them. So if I put 8 out of 10, then I'd be able to sort and instantly see all the ones I posted that I said were 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10. Because they're the ones I want to come back to. That's the, for those playing along at home, that's the definition of 8 and 9 out of 10, wanting to have them again. Build up the lore of my blog. I feel like I just need to start and get into the rhythm. And literally, wouldn't be much. It'd be like half an hour a day, maybe. And I can find half an hour. I just need to get in the rhythm of it. And sorry, Justin, you got me. You distracted me. I've heard people talking about various RPGs, and if you don't keep people happy in Russia, random insurgents pop up. Empire Earth predicted there'd be a rebellion in Voronezh. Russia would invade Ukraine. Hopefully, the prediction of a giant death robot becoming Russia's president doesn't happen, or has it already? I like how that guy, he never threatened Putin, and he never said, this is civil war, this is an uprising. He's just like, fuck the heads of the military. I'm going to go and fuck them up. And then he made a point of he really could if he wanted to. And then there was like a deal cut. It's like, okay. Point taken. But you kind of need to go away. And we won't even prosecute you. You can just go and live in Belarus and stay there until you get so depressed you jump out a window, like all the oligarchs who got on Putin's wrong side. Hashtag sarcasm. Man, that is actually an amazing collection of flavors. See, I don't often talk about the cocktails that much because I like this one. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Got any recommendations? Because I'm supposed to be getting a good tax return this week, and that's just because it's business. It's not personal tax return. But I loaned the business so I could pay tax, so the business has to pay me back. So I'm going to get all this money and do my retail therapy. There had been bottles of it. Like I was thinking, because it's not that I'm running out, but it's low and it won't last forever. So I was thinking of getting some more bone dry gin from Archie Rose. And I was also considering getting another bottle of the Sunrise Lime because I did finish that. I was also considering getting that new rye that they brought out because it sounds interesting. And then on another front, actually, but still in Sydney, it's going to get stuff from Brick. So I was really thinking of their new mango rum and that trail mix spice beverage they have. But I don't know if you have any hot tips for retail therapy targets I should go for, Kirsten. Musical Aviator, I think the polonium's gone out of fashion. If you've been looking at the number of apparently sad oligarchs who've thrown themselves out of high-rise building windows, I mean, there's a lot of it going on. So, all right, those sound yummy. No other hot tips. Honestly, I will probably do it. Those all sound like good things to me. So I'm also really interested in trying that trail mix from Bricks because their citrus gone wild. No, citrus got real. That's what it is. Joke about shit just got real. Citrus got real. That stuff's incredible because it's like 37%. But for me, it pours like a cocktail. It's very rare I'm just going to drink something that's 37% alcohol. Because even an old fashioned, by the time you stir it on ice and whatnot, is, 30% or lower ABV, unless you're using really high proof spirits. But yeah, this just drinks from the bottle with like virtually no alcohol burn, which is honestly, dangerous. So I'm wondering if the trail mix is like that. So we shall see. Hey, Safa, how you doing? I think I need to quickly go out and get some ice. Or honestly, I probably can't be bothered fucking around. I've got some ice here that I was going to drink water with. I'll just use a little glass. Take a chunk of ice out of this big glass. And pour some of this. I am in the midst. I was really busy this afternoon. Oh, fuck, I forgot. I keep forgetting that this cork is fucked. I don't know if it's worth super gluing the cork back together. So I think I have fun keeping bottles that I like and reusing them. And I tend to find out after a while, well, this stopper clearly wasn't meant to be used forever because it broke. And God, I think I might have already re-glued this one once. That or that's their glue. I don't know. I'll probably try re-gluing it. I just like the fairy on the bottle. It's a blue fairy rather than the green fairy, which is fair because it was blue absinthe. Pour that. Put the orange peel in. Stir it with my cherry. It's all good and good. Anyway, so I sidetracked myself when the bloody stopper broke. Yes, I was doing a bunch of stuff today, preparing for. I'm going to support folks who do Dry July, give them some really creative non-alcoholic drink options. Because honestly, most mocktails, not all, but most mocktails are just fruit juice and something fizzy. That's it. The vast majority of them. So I'm doing some quite elaborate, or slightly elaborate, clarified non-alcoholic cocktails. And there's a bit of preparation time for them. And I actually am doing 3. And I've mostly done 2 of them. They're doing the filtering at the moment, which is going quite slow, but will be finished when I go to bed, or maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know. And I was going to do 1 more with cola, because fun fact, most cola is acidic enough to curdle milk on its own. And so therefore you can do clarified cola. But I'm going to do a clarified cherry cola. I'm going to put syrup from the cherry jar in there as well. And make a clarified cherry cola. That's fucking yummy. So I'm very intrigued as to how these experiments are going to turn out, because I'm doing 3 quite different experiments featuring a different thing. One's tropical, one's the cola, cherry cola, and one's trying to recreate malty flavors that it might evoke some of the spirit of either whiskey or beer with maltiness. It's definitely not going to taste like whiskey, but it might evoke some of the flavors, because I put in all the stuff that are like the flavor notes that people always talk about, with cinnamon and malt and stone fruit. So I'm very keen to see how these experiments turn out, because I literally have no idea how they're going to turn out. So it'll be interesting. Oh gosh, been there, done that, Kirsten. Buying a large box of favorite desserts. Never eaten six and feel sick. Yep. It's like when you go to one of those luxury donut shops and they offer you a huge box, like a dozen huge donuts for a really good price, and you go, I'd be crazy not to get them. You got to be around a fucking group of people for that. Oh god, incidentally, we found out at work recently, new public service rules, occupational health and safety rules. If you're having an event like morning tea or a lunch or whatever, you're not allowed to have unhealthy food. So you're not allowed to have cake or donuts or sausage rolls or party pies. This stuff's got to have some semblance of being healthy. But mind you, the last time that happened, there was a big all hands thing and it was catered. The person who did the catering, pretty goddamn clever. The food they got met the criteria and was still very yummy. But yes, we did do a big thing about no sausage rolls, no party pies, no donuts. Oh no! But what are you gonna do? Oh, nice. You're keeping yourself busy as well, strictly so you go. Listening to a podcast, taking pics of laser discs for the shop. Yeah. So I also made some syrups, like for the tropical one. I used coconut milk or coconut cream, I suppose it was, because I made it from powder and I made it quite thick. So I suppose it's coconut cream to clarify it, to get a tropical vibe. And that also has like pineapple juice and orange juice and some strong tea, actually, because that's always a fun flavor to put in a clarified cocktail. And then there was leftover coconut cream, so I made sweet syrup for cocktails, cream of coconut. Man, maybe I'll go out and get that. Make a quick pina colada. I mean, that actually sounds like fun. I haven't done that in a while. And every time I make a pina colada, I go, these aren't cheesy. These taste great. Why don't I have this more often? So, so I might do that. Where are we? All right. Well, let's see if I can keep it simple. See if I can find a simple but good pina colada recipe. I won't go to Difford's because that's going to be fussy. What's this one? Rum, cream of coconut, pineapple juice, lime juice. That's what I want. I'm going to fucking do it. I haven't made it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to fucking do it. I haven't made one in ages. Okay, Justin, I know it's actually not just that game, because other people have been talking about other games that basically have plot elements that you could equate to what actually happened in Russia in the last couple of days. It's because it's really predictable. Russia invading Ukraine, super predictable. Trying to take that city, well, I'll pronounce it wrong, but I'll try Voronezh. That's a very strategic city, apparently. Also, I feel like a giant death robot running Russia is predictable too. That's a little bit more out there, but I feel like it's kind of predictable. Oh gosh. I've saw snippets of that Tim Pool Emma, again, don't know how to pronounce the name, Vigeland, where she absolutely wiped the floor with, because Tim Pool is just unintelligent. he is an unintelligent person who's memorized certain phrases and concepts, and he thinks that makes him smart. He cannot apply intelligence in any creative or spontaneous way, but he can regurgitate things he's memorized, as in argument styles and logical fallacies and whatnot. He's a fucking moron, though. Harry, there are some exceptional stories in video games. It certainly is. And Nug, how are you doing? Oh, and look, everyone's rolling in. Dr. Abigail, hello. Yeah, should we say? I've seen a few little snips, and the thing that Tim Pool and all those right wing grifters do is they say something that's absolute horseshit, but they just state it as a fact. They just go, and she multiple times went, "That's not true," and she just pinned him down and went, "That is not true." And he'd always end up changing the subject because he's fucking an idiot. It's just like it's the default thing to just say something that isn't true, assert that it is true, and then usually if they get shot down, just pretend they never said it and go straight on to something else untrue. So it's like, it's why interacting with those people is a waste of fucking time, because they're dishonest on every level. They just lie. They're intellectually dishonest and morally dishonest because they don't mean anything they say. It's all just a grift. It's all just a create controversy, whip up idiots to make money out of idiots who get whipped up by the shit they say. And it just never stops. If you try and argue with or debate them, they're always debate me. It's whack-a-mole, because you can absolutely destroy their talking point and they won't blink and they'll just bring up something else. It's not something. Okay, strictly Sega, counterpoint. You and I enjoy watching those right-wing grifters be hung out to dry because they're such fucking idiots. It by and large has no effect on their supporters. It's just people who already dislike them and people who are already know they're full of shit go, yeah, they're full of shit. And it's like, it feels good to say, yeah, they're full of shit, but it's not changing. It's changing very little. It's a very fine balancing act between holding these lying, grifting pieces of shit to account and giving them a platform that amplifies their message. For instance, like Andrew Tate is so negative and destructive and hateful and hurtful. No media outlet should give him a platform. They should not interview him to expose his lies. It's just giving him a platform and amplifying him. I suppose YouTubers, that's a bunch of nothing. YouTubers calling out other YouTubers, that's a bunch of nothing. But yeah. And yes, Dr. Abigail, they debate in bad faith. You'll never gain. Strictly Sega, I just do not believe any Tim Pool, because if you're a Tim Pool fan, you're a goddamn fucking moron. Like, you would have to be so absolutely stupid to be a fan of his. You're just going to go like, oh, she's awful. See. Oh yeah, Safa Justin was saying that earlier about Simon Crean. No, well, okay, well, see, that was an interesting one. Behind the Bastards, fill in the square. Although we don't usually do bingo on a Sunday night. Robert Evans, presenter of Behind the Bastards, said for the longest time he didn't want to talk about Andrew Tate because he thought it was just sort of giving him voice. But after he got arrested and was in the Romanian prison, he thought, okay, now he's been held up for just what an awful piece of shit he is. We can talk about him. All right, so Megaleech is saying news about cancer and heart disease cures. Moderna says, okay, I'm going to say in response to that, any prediction about when there will be cure or even improved treatment for serious illness like heart disease and cancer is basically meaningless. We've got one after we've got one. A drug company saying there's going to be a cancer vaccine by 2030. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't be. I feel like our treatments for a huge spectrum of life-threatening diseases continue to get better. And that's great. And if we continue to get better and better treatments, and look, even better preventative treatments, if there is some sort of vaccine. And as I understand it, what the research is saying is they feel like they are nearing a breakthrough where rather than giving you chemo or radiotherapy to kill cells, they believe they will develop, whether we call it a vaccine, a medicine, a therapy, that essentially supercharges your body's defenses and makes them orders of magnitude more likely to kill the things that are trying to kill you. The whole area is very difficult to work in, which very smart people are doing it, because of course allergies and other things, there's a whole bunch of things that make you very sick or occasionally kill you, that is your immune defenses getting out of control. So boosting your immune defenses, immune defenses comes with a whole bunch of risks. As you can say, your dad used to say, don't believe anything you hear, half of what you see. Oh yeah. But again, that's a boomer thing, man. Or not just boomers. A lot of people progressively get brainwashed by these conservative ideas. Jack, hello. Oh yeah, no, and that is actually another excellent point where I feel like debating those right wingers is very low value, because they literally will just go, just like you said, they will just go, oh, sheeple, you've been brainwashed. That's deep state. That's a psyop. And it's just like, there's no arguing with them. They argue in bad faith. And yes, Megaleech, I understand that that's the idea they're going with. And they're not shy about saying how difficult this is. But yeah, as I said, my understanding of what they think they can do with the mRNA techniques is essentially boost your body's defenses, because you get cancer because your body's defenses aren't able to kill the cells that are multiplying. But it's the whole thing. All I'm saying is whenever anyone talks about any breakthrough that's going to happen in the future, it's going to look, maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's always something to work towards, but it's not a done deal until several years after it's been deployed successfully. See Elon Musk talking about self-driving cars. See AI researchers talking about self-aware AI, which they've been saying since the 70s. And again, medical breakthroughs, maybe not. Like I said, the track record is we keep getting better and better and better at treating serious illnesses. And so one hopes that the improvements continue. But I take any prediction about we'll have X by year Y. I'm like, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Who knows? Also, yes, Harry, hopefully we won't destroy each other as well. Yeah. So that's another thing we've always got to be a little bit worried about. Oh, gosh darn. And will I, you know what? I'm going to go out. Is that because someone's supplying power that's electrifying? So make it saying, give a sample of cancer, clean sample, analyze samples, simple out cancer. Yeah. And yeah, I understand that's the theory and that's the line of research they're pursuing. And there has been promising signs. Again, it doesn't exist. They've got a strong body of research that says this is very promising and they can get there. But it's I'm just when someone says we are going to have X by year Y, I'm going, cool. That is worth as much as a fortune teller telling me what's going to happen to me in the next year. Well, actually, no, that's harsh and not completely fair. Fortune tellers are clearly absolutely making everything up. But again, the predictions of what technology or what social change will be achieved by a certain year is still just guesswork. It might be very well educated guesswork, and I'm a big fan of people with well educated guesses, but it's like still sort of, well, we've got this piece and this piece and this piece, and we see this happening, so we feel like we'll reach here by then. And it's like, yeah, maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's not real until it's real, though. What am I drinking? I actually just had some, where is it? Reflecting a lot of light. My clarified cocktail. I've had that for weeks. Luckily, clarified cocktails are shelf stable because of the alcohol content. That one is actually really yummy. The non-alcoholic ones I'm making won't be shelf stable. So when they're ready, I'm just going to have to drink them because they will go off. They've got some milk content and juice content, and that will go off. Not straight away, but it will. Oh, sorry, you did ask me that before. South Hales State night. Well, we stayed home because Mrs. Angry is still unwell, which is not great. So we didn't go out. We watched the movie The Menu, aka rich people getting what they. There's a whole thing of rich people getting what they deserve, like the White Lotus streaming series. The movie Triangle of Sadness, the movie The Menu. There's a little mini moment of entertainments where rich people get what's coming to them. And of course, in real life, we did have the billionaires turned into slurry at the bottom of the ocean. So, the weird thing is, I had nothing against any of those people because I knew nothing about them. If I knew something about them, I'd probably have something against them. Strictly Sega, I enjoyed the menu. It was a bit diabolical. What was interesting, because we watched in the last week, we watched both Triangle of Sadness, which is set on like a luxury yacht cruise, and the menu, which is set in an ultra high-end restaurant. And I think Mrs. Angry preferred Triangle of Sadness, and I preferred the menu. I thought they were both good. I kind of preferred the menu. What did we have for dinner? Well, again, Mrs. Angry was sick, so we didn't have anything special. I actually made my own dinner, a thing with like a pasta bake, mac and cheese, and I cooked up a bunch of veggies and put it all together and baked that, and it was yummy. I made. Oh yeah, no, I saw the ads for Fubar. It does kind of seem like fun, so I might watch that. And he's also got like a pseudo doco reality show going on as well. But yeah, right. I'm gonna play some elevator music. I'm just going to go out and get my pineapple juice and my cream of coconut. Play some lo-fi. Be back. Probably only be 30 seconds, but leave you with some elevator music while I go. There you go. I am back. Yes. It's a little thing of cream of coconut I made today. I'm going to use my charred pineapple daiquiri mix. Let's turn the lo-fi off. So Tez checking you had sore throats from endometriosis, clear for the Rona. Well, that's good. Oh, True Lies is one of my favorite Arnie movies. I fucking love that movie. There's a streaming series version of True Lies, which is pretty freaking weird. Let's decide what glass to have this in. No, definitely not making any more videos tonight. This one, I think. Shot. He's spilling something in there. All right, I'm going to have it in this one. The only question is, am I going to do a dirty dump? Matron. Okay, so shaker. Haven't used this for a little while. Rum-tilium. No, that one. I'm going to use the Archie Rose Triple Molasses Rum. All right. Oh, God, I should have got the lime juice while I was out there. God damn it. All right. I'll have to disappear for another 30 seconds and get my lime juice. Wouldn't be a pina colada without lime juice. Yeah, I might take these ones back and go and get the lime juice. Cream of coconut. Ooh, it's so goopy. And it looks like jizz. Don't judge me, I'm just telling the truth. Cream of coconut looks like jizz. All right. I'll take these back. All right. Another 30 seconds. Yeah, I know. I did. I licked it on purpose while I was saying that. Oh, yeah. No, Megaleech, I think it's on Prime. There is a streaming series, True Lies. All right. Got to my lime juice. Just freshly squeezed some lime today. Okay. Okay, we just want a little bit of lime juice. And now we get the ice. A little ice thermos. God damn it, I should have got my Hawthorne strainer while I was out there. I'm not going out again. I'll just work it out. All right, so here's a 2-second warning. If you're wearing headphones, even though I'm all the way over here, this still might be loud. Okay. Shaker is painfully cold to hold. That's probably a sign that it's ready. Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be a dirty dump. Put all the ice in. Ah, just almost perfect. All right. And I got my straw. All right. Oh, it's Disney Plus. There you go. It says, just because I'm not going to watch it, I don't really have any desire to watch the streaming series of True Lies. Oh, yum. So, hot tip, if you're ever making a pina colada and you're doing it properly using cream of coconut, pineapple juice, and lime juice, got to shake it real hard because the pineapple juice and the lime juice are going to try and curdle the cream of coconut and separate it. So you got to shake it real hard to integrate it. And honestly, you got to drink it relatively quickly too. All right, and itch on my leg. I should stop scratching. I'll probably break the skin. Anyway. Yum-o. I suppose that had to be done. Made some cream of coconut today. Use it to make a pina colada. No, is there anything else that you can use cream of coconut? Bipolar warning signs, Jesus. Let me see. Different guy. Cocktail of the day. It's Catfish Day. So they recommend a fish house punch. A devil's horn. So, oh God, jalapenos. Raspberries, rum, cranberry, honey, lime juice. I'm not into spicy. When people make spicy cocktails, they're usually pretty freaking serious. Cocktail builder. No, that's not what I wanted. Cocktail finder. So, by syrup. Just going to look up cream of coconut. How many cocktails do they have? 25. 25 cocktails with cream. Of course, pina colada in the August sun. Looks like a pina colada and tastes like a pina colada. Ooh, but it's got Fino, Sherry, and Falernum. Ooh, does a painkiller have cream of coconut? What's in the August sun? Overproof rum, Fino, Sherry, Falernum, pineapple juice, and cream of coconut. I mean, that might be quite interesting, actually. I might actually do that. Bookmark that. Do that. Because like 60% of the people who watch my cocktail channel are in America, I think. So I watched ultra trashy reality show, The Ultimatum, Queer Love. Toxic and trashy and instantly hooked. Yay. Liam, how are you doing? I am fine. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you are well as well. All right, I might make that. But what else? Pina Verde with green chartreuse. Yes, I just taunt people around the world who can't find green chartreuse that I have heaps of green chartreuse. Thunder in Paradise. What's Thunder in Paradise? Rum, sherry, orgeat, lime juice, and cream of coconut. That's simpler than the other one. Buzzard's breath. A pina colada made with cachaça. Cocoa Nort. 2 shots of white overproof rum and cream of coconut and lime juice. So that's relatively simple, and you're hiding the overproof rum with the extra shots. A Newport Code Breaker. What's that got? Tequila, Navy rum, Advocaat. Oh my God. And it's too much orange juice. 4 shots of orange juice. Although that would be balanced out by the Advocaat and cream of coconut. I'd maybe split orange juice and pineapple juice, quite honestly. I'm just not that big a fan of orange juice in cocktails. Yeah. Mrs. Angry is going to see the doctor tomorrow because she took her last week off sick leave and she's still not feeling well. So she's going to actually see the doctor. They might be doing some tests and whatnot. Whatever she's got, not contagious because I didn't get it. So I'm going into the, assuming I don't wake up sick, I'm going into the office tomorrow for the first time in 3 weeks. Yeehaw. Going to the office is arbitrary. Oh, well, I think there's actually something on. I usually go in on the times I go in. I have avoided going in for the last 2 weeks because of other people in the house who were sick. And I thought, well, I don't want to take the risk of passing anything on to the office. So I'll work from home. But yeah, I normally go in on Monday and Tuesday when I'm going in. And I think there's actually a thing on Tuesday that maybe makes it worth going in. Oh, and I catch up with my team on Mondays. So, It is what it is. Okay. Every time I make a pina colada, I end up going, man, I should make more pina coladas. That's actually really good. Oh, wow. Jake the Drake having a real adventure. A Pink Floyd concert performed by a collective of great Aussie musicians. Good to know Jake's living the life. Because when you say Pink Floyd, I just think about, Roger Waters copping a bit of flack lately. There's Nazi imagery in that show you do. It's like, it's anti-Nazi imagery. And because he has been a critic of the state of Israel, get all these people go, he's a Nazi, he's anti-Semitic. And it's an area where you need to be careful, because certainly you get a lot of Nazis who will go on and on about the state of Israel, but also really perfectly rational people who look at the way the conservatives in Israel are setting up an apartheid state and absolutely fucking over the Palestinian people, among others, and it's just reeks of a crime against humanity. But it's certainly a fraught area. All right. Time to go for some sody water, which, again, no one's playing bingo tonight. I believe that's a bingo square. I start going on about my sody water. I've got so... And is this a bingo square when I talk about how many boxes of it I've got? Because this Australian maker has been putting everything on like half price or more sale recently. So I stocked up. I got a bunch of boxes of flavored soda waters and mineral waters. What I like is they're not artificially flavored. They've just got an infusion of the fruit, and there's no sugar, and there's not even any artificial sweetener. So it's just like bubbly water with a little undercurrent of flavor. And this one, the undercurrent flavor is blood orange and sage. So it depends what we mean by safer, and depends which soda water you're talking about. In theory, soda water doesn't have the additives that soft drinks do, certainly not the sugar, or in this case, not even the artificial sweetener. But so I guess it's an acquired taste as well. Liam, what have I been up to? Oh, this, that, and the other. Nothing too outlandish. As I was mentioning earlier, I spent a lot of today preparing stuff for some non-alcoholic clarified mocktails, which I'll release around the 1st of July for Dry July. That's this weekend. So, yeah, I'm making 3 of these mocktails. So I'll probably, just with YouTube being the way it is, I'll probably do one long one where I have all of them, and then there'll be like 3 shorts, one for each of the drinks. Bunch of editing in my future. So if we had rain on and off today, it was a weird sort of bleak, cloudy, windy day with bits of sunshine. And also, if you like mineral water, you might like the Cappy drinks, which they seem to be having heaps of sales on their website at the moment. That pineapple stuff, their cocktail mixes is currently like 75% off on their website. I still think that's a bit expensive. I actually got that from Dan Murphy's at 90% off because it just didn't sell. It's just too expensive. Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a Cappy sponsorship, honestly, because it just helps me be responsible. I'm gonna have mineral water. I think this is soda water, not mineral water. They stopped making my favorite one, and I said, "Are you going to make that anymore?" And they went, "No." But honestly, we've got some experiments coming up with mineral water you might like. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I quite like just the really light flavor in these. Which again, weirdly, only a few years ago I wouldn't have liked it. I would have gone like, yeah, that's not sweet enough or artificially sweet enough. But I don't know. My palate's changed over the years, and I like things that I never would have liked years ago. That's what it is to be a human being. Oh gosh, I just remembered one of my barrels is empty. I need to put something in it before it dries out, even if it's just the red wine or the vodka that I've had in there before. I've got these huge things of it's basically flavored vodka, barrel aged vodka. I think the vodka had been in the barrel for a couple of months, so it's now sort of a little light brown color, and it's picked up the flavor of various cocktails that had been in the barrel before. So I think it'd probably be good as a base for a punch or something, or a mixed drink for a party. It's got a bit of flavor in it now. And of course, it's got the biz. I have to decide if I'm going to also other things I have in the barrels. So I'm just going to check because the advice of Mrs. Angry, I date things. So okay, so that's empty. It's very light. That's empty. This one just since the 6th. All right. And that's port. And 17th of the 6th. Oh, that's the liqueur. I was going, what did I even put in these? Okay, that's an old fashioned, and that's a liqueur, which I'll leave in for about a month. So that means the old fashioned still has 2 weeks to go. The liqueur has 3 weeks to go. All right, that's okay. So I did hit a point where I'd just been doing so many barrel aged cocktails and stuff. I had bottles and bottles of these barrel aged cocktails, and eventually cleared the decks because I stopped putting stuff in the barrels. I just put like some really cheap red wine that you use for cooking, and some vodka. There was another one. One of them's got port in it. I like having just a little sip of port every now and then. It's a nice tip. See, okay, here's the thing, Safa. I half listened to Mrs. Angry rather than trying to trust myself to remember something. I put a little sticky there that said when I put them in. I didn't say what it was because I assumed I'd remember, and it just took me a while to actually remember because Mrs. Angry says, "You're not going to remember. You're not going to remember. So write it on it." And I kind of sort of did. Same as like the last time, I had a couple of old fashions, but they were different. And I actually stuck a label on the bottles so I could tell which one was which. Because, I listen sometimes. I repeat myself sometimes. Why do I repeat myself? Who knows? It's a mystery. Just having a little bit of liqueur. I'm going to drink it all. My defense is like I'm flavoring the orange peel that Mrs. Angry will put in her hot chocolate in the morning. And this particular thing has a lot of flavor, so... Safa, I don't remember a goddamn thing I did as a teenager. I think I was far less likely to talk at all when I was a teenager, very socially awkward. There's a period where I used to just mumble all the time, and that was because of being hassled by family members, because I didn't quite fit in, and you get made fun of for a while and then you don't want to say anything. So you just mutter under your breath, yeah, you know what, fuck you. So, yes, for people who've watched me talk at a volume and at length on YouTube, they would potentially be really surprised to learn I went through a phase that lasted several years as a teenager where I would just mumble all the time because I was so frustrated with my situation and the way people were treating me. And I would just mumble, you know what, fuck you. But I don't think I repeated myself. I think that's just a thing I do on live streams because, I'm trying to talk for upwards of 10 hours a week, unscripted and improvised. The repeating myself is an emphasis thing, but also it's just like, goddamn, I'm just trying to... It's almost like I'm emphasizing it to myself when I do it. That was an important point. You're going to try not to be conservative as you get older. I get more radical as I get older. That's just me. It's not just me. Oh my God. Okay. I want to have a little rant now. And I'll preface this. This is not about anyone on this stream. This is other things that happened on social media in the last week. But I had yet another example of how common it is for someone who thinks they're not conservative. They maybe call themselves progressive. They maybe even think that they're a bit radical. But some things will just make them flip straight into repeating hard right conservative talking points. Sometimes it's race. It's sometimes like you get those stories about crime in Alice Springs and it's out of control. And then you find out, that was actually largely a bunch of lies perpetuated by racists. But it's interesting the whole waves of people who don't think they're racist, who just repeated the talking points. Oh, it's a problem. It's got to be fixed. Government's got to get involved. More policing. And these days, a lot of it is anti-gay and queer stuff. It's like even people who think they're not anti-gay say, "Oh, there's the people in that pride parade. They did some pretty awful things. That was too sexual. I don't like it." And they just start rabbiting and repeating these hyper-conservative talking points. There was a very specific thing. Someone who fancies themselves a punk that I know, they don't come on this stream, so they're never going to know that I'm shit talking them. I'm also not going to say their name or persona or anything. But anyway, they fancy themselves a punk. They're really radical. They're English, and they put this thing from Turning Point UK, which is the UK version of this right-wing billionaire-funded shit talkers, and it's essentially anything you see with the Turning Point logo on it, you just go, well, this is a lie. This is just a lie. And this one was that ridiculous right-wing talking point of accepting the reality of non-binary and trans people means it's a slippery slope. You get all these kids who identify as a cat and demand to have a litter tray in the classroom, which is a complete fucking lie. Just not true, but these fucking idiots will say it and act as if it's a real thing. Anyway, there was this audio recording from some school in the UK, and the school apparently has very strict anti-bigotry policies. Like students can be disciplined if they're racist, homophobic, transphobic, or anyway. And anyway, there's this thing. The recording starts, and this guy shared it was from like Turning Point UK, and I just went, and the link wasn't even working for me when I looked, but I just said, "Are you actually sharing something from Turning Point as if it's true?" Because it's not. Just I can tell because it's from them. It's not true. Oh, I've got all the audio, and then for whatever reason, a bit later, I was able to hear the audio recording. And what it is, it starts off with this kid saying something about, "No, you can say you identify as a cat, and that's stupid." And the teacher's saying, like, stop being bigoted and ignorant about gender. So what Turning Point and all these other conservative outlets went with, which is demonstrably not true, that the teacher was defending the idea of, I identify as a cat. And the teacher specifically, categorically, does not do that, does not say that. The kid, horrible shithead kid at the start, she says it, and then you listen to what the teacher actually says. The teacher only refers to gender and gender identity, and so it's blindingly fucking obvious this obnoxious kid has been harassing another kid who's either trans or non-binary, and the teacher said, you need to cut that shit out. And that's when the kids launched in with but it's stupid, it's not real. You can say you identify as a cat, it's not real. And the teacher's telling them not to be a bigot. And the teacher never says anything about this ridiculous trope of identifying as a cat. The teacher's, every comment from the teacher is about gender and gender identity. And yet Turning Point and all these other conservative outlets saying, oh, out of control teacher is threatening a kid for saying, people can identify as a cat. And this guy's going like, oh, that teacher's fucked. And I went, give me a timestamp in that audio recording where the teacher says it's legitimate to identify as a cat. And went, it's the very first thing. And I went, the very first thing is this fucking kid. And when you listen to how it goes on, it's really obvious that this kid has been harassing another kid who's non-binary or trans, because everything the teacher says is about gender and gender identity. And this horrible fucking kid just repeats all these bigoted right-wing talking points about it. And the teacher quite calmly says, you'll find, like, you can't stay in this school if you're going to do this shit. And this guy who fancies himself as, not being one of the conservatives, went on this whole rant about the left and the gender stuff's out of control. I went, but I was trying to pin him down and go, the teacher never says that. And when I said it's obvious what this kid was doing, go, you don't know, you're making that up. Okay, you're making up with the teacher. And it's like, and he was saying, because the teacher argued with the kid who said this ridiculous shit about identifying as a cat, therefore the teacher was saying identifying as a cat was legitimate. I went, no, listen to the words. At no point does the teacher say what you're asserting and you're not saying it mildly, you're going off your trolley and saying this teacher's out of control, this teacher's a piece of shit, the whole thing is fucked. And all you're doing is repeating these gross, bigoted, far-right talking points. No, I'm not. It's just like, fuck me. It never fails to amaze me. People who think they're progressive or even anti-conservative fall into conservative talking points so fucking easily. So easily. And yeah, this guy rapidly became a waste of friggin' time. And because I literally just said, point to an instance where the teacher says this thing that you say the teacher is saying, oh, and it's like, no, fuck off. Let's just step the fuck away. And But yeah, sometimes it's about race. Like, when people believed the African crime gang things, when people believe horrible lies about Indigenous Australian communities, uh, media platform fucking assholes who just want to get up and say really bigoted, racist things and treat it as if it's somehow real just because someone says it. And yeah, it's not so much. I'm never surprised by these right wingers, the homophobes, transphobes, racists saying stuff because that's who they are. But when people who fancy themselves as progressive tip over into these horrible, bigoted talking points, at just the tiniest thing pushes them over. Well, not necessarily the tiniest, but a piece of bullshit pushes them over so easily into just repeating these absolutely false, bigoted talking points. It's like, oh my God, it honestly did not take much to get you to say this crap, did it? It's just like, oh, you know, Peter Dutton said something about African crime gangs, so you repeat it. Some rando gets on a conservative media outlet and says, "Oh, abuse in Aboriginal community," and you just repeat it. Well, Justin, Dave Rubin's one of the propagators of it. He is one of the grifters who is milking people like this. He's whipping very gullible people up into hysteria to freaking milk attention and money from them. I'm more talking about the people who get taken in by people like Dave Rubin. But you raise an excellent point that, Dave Rubin is a liar who just spouts this ridiculous rubbish as if it's fact. But yeah, the people who think they're progressive, but just spout just bigoted garbage. Yes, Wolf Queen. It was 45 years. I thought that was a really interesting date. I was looking up an on this day thing, and on Wikipedia, the rainbow pride flag was first used at a pride event 45 years ago today, 1978. And of course, the original pride flag was quite different to the ones there. No, there were more colors on it, and it's not, the colors didn't mean anything in the first one. It was just a rainbow. I'll actually see if I can show it for comparison. Okay. All right, I'll show this for a start. So this is the, oh, fuck me. This is the original pride flag. And you can see there's the extra colors, the pink at the top and the purple at the bottom. But that was the original pride flag design that flew 45 years ago. And yeah. Oh yeah, Justin. No. Okay, is Dave Rubin gay? I feel like I'm trying to remember. It's like Dave Rubin having conversations with Ben Shapiro, and about, hey, we can have a conversation, even though Ben Shapiro thinks I'm disgusting and needs to burn in hell. Yeah, I was wrong about the purple, but the pink at the top got dropped. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Dave Rubin is gay, and he has these whole things about, even though Ben Shapiro thinks he's a crime against humanity, they can have a conversation. And it's just like, yeah, Dave, you are just the most shameless fucking grifter that you would do anything for money. You would do anything for money. And it's embarrassing and sad to watch. It's creepy. And yeah. And yes, yeah, sorry, as Justin, you said that earlier, he declared himself as a lefty at some point. And it's like, but I mean, he's a grifter. It's all about money for him. And he's worked out, honestly, there are a bunch of super gullible people on the right of the culture wars. And if you say the right things and whip them into a frenzy, you can make money because they're stupid as hell. But yeah, I know Dave Rubin comes across as someone with no moral compass. And it's just like, Jesus. See, honestly, Justin, I think you're flattering him by saying it was Stockholm syndrome. I think it's literally just that he's a grifter. He stands for nothing. He's got no moral or intellectual integrity. He's just latching onto things where he thinks he can make money. Not a great person. I mean, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If all I wanted was attention, if I wanted to suddenly get a massively raised profile on YouTube and social media generally, all I'd have to do is get red pilled. After all the radical lefty shit I've done for the last 17 years, I just have to go, I was wrong all along. It's all a lie. And I just become an MRA, whatever. If I did that, I'd blow up huge, and I'd probably be able to get a lot of money out of these goddamn morons. All I'd have to do is give up my soul and my integrity. But so many people who have no integrity, no moral or intellectual integrity, have you see their earlier appearances online, and they do fall into what you would call progressive, or at least small L liberal, and just with one or two turns of events, and they just went, oh wait, it's actually too hard to have any integrity, and if I sell out completely, these absolute morons on the right will give me lots of money. And Wolf Green, I absolutely agree it's not worth it, in that everyone I care about would feel abandoned and betrayed. And I mean everyone, because I don't care about anyone who would think that was a good thing. So, and by everyone, I mean from my family through to everyone I know online who I care about, would just feel betrayed and whatnot. And it's just horseshit. Just reading again, victimhood heartstrings, anger heartstrings. And yes, it is, you are right. It's all about manipulation. And okay, here's one. I fell for one today on Twitter, and because there's an English activist I know highlighted it, and it was a Twitter account which appeared to be from this old guy, and there was a clip on this Twitter profile of this old guy on, I don't know, some BBC talk show, like Q&A, and just saying the most ridiculous, ignorant, bigoted shit about migrants and welfare. Stuff that's just factually not true. And then there's all this stuff on this profile that was like, oh, don't tell me I'm lying. I've seen people get off a small boat and walk straight into a welfare office. And I just kind of literally, I went, ha, dude, that's not only not true. It's embarrassing how easy that would be to prove to be untrue. And it's also really stupid. And one of my Twitter friends go, I kind of think that might be a piss take account, because I didn't look at it. I just saw that there was the video of their BBC appearance, and I didn't check, and I took it at face value, because a lot of these pro-Brexit, anti-immigration, anti-refugee nut jobs are just nut jobs who say ridiculous things. And I didn't look at the rest of their tweets, but a friend of mine did and went, I just, like, there are tweets where they say this and this. I think they're taking the piss. And I looked and went, yeah, no, you're right. That literally represented something I want to believe. It played to my emotions. It manipulated me. It played into exactly how I feel about these anti-immigration, anti-refugee bigots. It fit how I saw them perfectly, so I assumed it was true. Another good reminder. It's the first time I've been caught out in a little while, but I was quite glad a friend of mine just went, I think that account's taking the piss. Turns out it was, yeah. So, Wolf Queen, if you wanted to change state in church, pretend to be straight for longer. Yeah, no, you definitely need to be yourself. I think being yourself is extremely important. And yeah, like I said, giving up any sort of moral and intellectual integrity to advance yourself, not good. Oh yeah, and see, that was the thing, Justin. You, of course, the whole thing about, oh, immigrants just give them. That's just not how the system works. It's not possible. It's super hard for people who have a legitimate claim to benefits to get them. So this thing about immigrants getting institutional. So yeah, again, so this thing that turned out to be someone taking the piss, because it was so close to how these bigots actually are, and it played into my idea of the truth, that I just accepted it as true. And that's the thing. I often say to people, and I forgot it today, but I often say to people, when you see something, particularly on social media, if it plays exactly into your worldview, either it's something that's very good that you love and that's excellent, and it's got you completely on board because you want it to be true because it's good, or it plays into exactly what you think is bad. Both of those are massive warning signs. It's stuff that's manipulating you emotionally, basically, in either a good or a bad way. And yeah, it's when something plays straight into how you feel about the world in either a positive or negative way, you really need to engage your critical thinking in a huge way, because that's how bad faith actors get you, by playing into how you see the world and emotionally manipulating you. Yeah, and this guy got me today. This is someone who's like taking the piss, but it's like, yeah, dude, you're only exaggerating that much. But it's kind of like when you see them post 20 things that are all exaggerations. See, these various like anti-immigration, anti-refugee loonies, they could say one thing that's just completely out there, just completely unhinged, and that's believable. But you know, this guy posting everything is like, oh yeah, well, my cousin's workmate knew a fella who definitely saw this. And it's like, oh, okay. It's just like exaggeration after exaggeration after exaggeration after exaggeration. You're taking the piss. Okay. But I didn't look. I should have. And I've caught things like this before. Something hit all the buttons for me. And it's like, wait, let me go. And I've looked and I went, no, this is definitely someone taking the piss. And but this one got me. So it's actually a good wake-up call. I feel like I have godlike powers of prescience and understanding and perception, and it occasionally fails me. So yeah. I love that as a list, Justin. It's not easy to claim if you don't have a Medicare number, 1,000 points of ID, grandmother's death certificate, 3 horsehairs from West Tubbo. Claim won't get approved. Again, yes. Centrelink is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I think the British welfare system might be worse, actually. And this account that I'm talking about was from England. But yeah, I think that falls under Poe's law. It's you're trying to parody someone who's almost impossible to parody, and fringe right, which has become creepily more and more mainstream in the last couple of years, is so extreme and so disconnected from reality that how the fuck do you parody it? I just don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, yes, Justin, that's its Poe's law. It's just like, but you say you're being satire, but you're just literally saying what some other people say seriously. So how do I know? And it's like this guy that got me. Okay, after the fact, when I realized it was someone taking the piss, and I looked again and was going, okay, yes, it's an exaggeration, but the actual right-wing agitators, the anti-vaxxers, I mean, the QAnon crowd, the ones who literally think JFK Jr. is still alive and is going to appear and be Trump's running mate in a presidential election. It's just like, they're unhinged. And I know what's happening. And this is also true of like flat earthers and a whole bunch of conspiracy groups online. Shit stirrers get in and they join these groups, they join these forums, and they just start seeding really outrageous things in there because they know they can just keep cranking the dial up. And if they do it in small enough increments, there is a body of these unhinged people who are completely disconnected from reality who will believe it. Most people won't, because you're just saying something that's absolutely ridiculous, like JFK Jr. is still alive and he's going to appear and he's going to be Trump's running mate. The vast majority of people will like, shut the fuck up. That's not real. That isn't real. That's not going to happen. But there are these weird, disconnected from reality people who do it. I am also very concerned about Tate and the crowd. And I may or may not end up doing some YouTube stuff about it. But yeah. Oh, okay. See, no. Tate's a liar. Tate doesn't mean anything he says, but he has learned he can just keep saying more and more extreme thing, and a certain impressionable, gullible subset of young men will fall into it. So there is, in my mind, no question that Tate doesn't believe the ridiculous things. But I also think he's gone through the looking glass. I think he has been saying such extreme things for so long and pushing what he can say to the weirdos who follow him. And he keeps pushing it further and further. There are a lot of psychological studies that show if you keep saying something, you start to believe it. Even if when you start, you know it's not true. If you keep saying it again and again and again, you start to believe it. It's like converts to religion. And this is one of the most notable ones, and this has been shown repeatedly. Someone who marries into a religion, it's like they're in love with their partner, but to be with them, they have to join the partner's religion. And they go, whatever, I don't care. It's just silly shit. And they go to the religious services and they spout the words. And a significant number of them, after a certain amount of time, months, years, whatever, they become more devout than the people who were born into it. Converts are often way more zealous and devout than people who were born into a faith. And I think that's what has happened with Tate. Tate was just talking absolute garbage, manipulating impressionable, inexperienced, not very bright young men, and honestly, some older men too. But because he had to keep saying it and keep being consistent, I feel like he's crossed over to the point where he now believes a bunch of stuff he never used to believe, but he's been repeating it for years, and he's been exaggerating it and expanding it and going further and further with it. And it keeps working for him to a large degree. And so he ends up believing it, even though when he started saying it, he knew it wasn't true. He knew it was just a manipulation tactic to get money out of people. But it's a spiral where you keep going and going and going. And now I definitely don't think Andrew Tate is in very good touch with reality at the moment. I think his ego is in control, and I don't think he has a very good grip on reality anymore. Saying he's too crazy with parodies. Yeah, we can still make fun of him, but you can't really parody him because the things he says are so extreme and so stupid. And actually, he just says stuff that is embarrassing and cringy. Like when he was in prison in Romania, weird stuff on his social media about fighting ghosts. But we can still make fun of him because I do one that stood out to me. Australian gay musician Brendan McLean did, and it just cracked me up because Tate's he's been doing this stuff about turning women down. Women have no power over me. They can be a 10. They can't get me to do anything. They desperately want me to be aroused by them, and I just turn them away. There's this whole thing about women can't tempt me and all this. And Brendan McLean quote tweeted this with, "This is me when I was 14, just before I came to terms with the fact I was gay." It's like, yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. But again, so you can't really parody Tate because so much of what he says is so stupid, but you can make fun of him. And again, it's actually absurdly easy to make fun of him because he... Okay, look, I have no idea really how intelligent or perceptive he is, but he's fallen down into his own rabbit hole of just not being in touch with reality, that intelligence has become irrelevant at this point because he's in this almost singularity of delusion. It started with him lying to and tricking all his followers, and it became so successful, and he kept getting more and more extreme with it, that it does feel like he's fallen into the delusion himself now, and he has to keep making it more and more extreme. And so it's collapsing in on itself. So, yeah. And yes, Musical Aviator, it does, even though Tate was released from prison in Romania pending trial, it does seem pretty inevitable he is going to end up convicted and jailed for a long time. Because he openly boasts about all the crimes he was committing. He spent so many years boasting about all the crimes he committed. And now it's surprising that legal authorities are pursuing him. And it's like, what? It actually, sorry, very old episode of The Young Ones, showing my age here, 80s comedy. I have no idea how many people watching the stream are aware at all of The Young Ones, but it was a super funny show I watched when I was at college. And there's one of convicts from England being transported to Australia in 1700s, 1800s. And one guy's saying to his mate, "Say farewell to jolly old England, Australia for us. Transported we are, just for want of better manners, because we are not as the standing of the lords of the land. They send us to the colonies." And his mate goes, "Yeah, and for all them murders you done." It's just like, yep. Okay. Yeah, that whole Russia thing was weird. It was over so quickly. And it basically seemed to be the guy was the head of the mercenary group, hated the military high command, not Putin, but military commanders. He said an airstrike of theirs killed his troops and he wanted them to pay for it. And he made his point because his soldiers appeared to be moving unimpeded, secured some strategic cities, and they could have moved on to Moscow. And then Moscow said, okay, major point. Okay, you can't sort of march on Moscow because that's too much. How about we say we hear you, major point. We won't even charge you. We won't charge you. Look, we cut a deal with the president of Belarus. You can go live in Belarus. Your mercenary group will actually be folded into the Russian military, and you can just go and retire. Right till the point that you do the thing that all oligarchs did and get sad and throw yourself out a window. Dr. Abigail, what I love about that is talking about Tate being surprised Pikachu face. There's that image that people often share of Tate, where he's got this chinless thing, and he literally looks like surprised Pikachu. It's wild. Music Creator, there's a podcast, I think it's called Sad Oligarchs. It's basically where the people investigate the number of Russian oligarchs who spoke out against Putin in the last couple of years, who then were apparently so sad they threw themselves out a high-rise window because there was more than one or two of them. And it's just like, because Putin got sick of poisoning people's tea with polonium, and now they just go out windows of high rises. Oh wow, you've got a bunch of stuff on Musical Aviator ensembles for August, September. Oh, it's nice to have options. Yeah, Safa, being Russian is okay. You just don't want to be a Russian. Well, you can be a Russian oligarch, but you have to be completely subservient to Putin, because as we have seen over the last couple of decades, the oligarchs are essentially bandits who stole resources and got their wealth from nefarious means. They got a bit full of themselves and said, I've got a lot of money. I can do whatever I want. You know what? I own these oil fields. What's Putin got to do? Putin's going to fucking kill you, is what he's going to do, because he's done it so many times over the last 20 years. Actually, it might be, what would be a good search term? If I just go into like Google and search. Okay, I'm just going here. I'm going to go Russian oligarch deaths. Okay, Russian oligarch. Okay, there's a Wikipedia page. Suspicious deaths of Russian business people. Or Euronews has a list of oligarchs and Putin critics found dead. Okay, let's go. All right, sorry, let's have a look. Growing number of high-profile Russians have died under strange circumstances. Ivan Petrin, top manager, Corporation for Development, allegedly fell off his luxury yacht and drowned. Company General Director Igor Nozov died from a reported stroke. He was 43. And yeah, that happens, but aviation expert died. Head of the Moscow Aviation Institute, Anatoly Gerashenko, pronounced dead after falling down several sets of stairs. Former director of the Russian national air carrier Aeroflot, Nikolai Glushkov, famously claimed 1/4 of the company's employees were officers of the country's intelligence. He found hanged in his home in London. Glushkov was a friend of late oligarch Boris Berezovsky, also found dead with a ligature around his neck in 2013, which happened just after the Novichok poisoning of Alexander Skripal and his daughter in Salisbury. Chairman of the board of Russia's largest private oil company, Ravil Maganov, died in what Russian news agencies cited as an accidental fall from a hospital window. Former top manager Alexander Subotin found dead in the basement of his residence. Anti-war oligarchs die under strange circumstances. At least another 8 Russian oligarchs have died in strange circumstances since the outbreak of conflict with Ukraine. All had close links with Kremlin, immense wealth, connection to Russian gas, but they had an anti-war stance with regards to Ukraine. Leonid Shulman, 60, found in the bathroom of his house with slashed wrists. Alexander Tudorov, 65, died in home. Mikhail Watford was in the UK, found dead in his home. Russian billionaire Vasily Melnikov and his family found dead in Western Russia. There's a lot of wow. Okay, so that just fucking Jesus Christ. No, Justin, that's what it is. Russian oligarchs are both clumsy and depressed. Wowzers. And I didn't actually finish the list. It was just getting a bit much to keep going through all these people who died, and the one thing they had in common is that they were Putin critics. Man, it's like, Jesus. And look, some of them were not going to be foul play. And look, there's an outside chance none of them were foul play. I personally don't believe that. I personally believe foul play was involved in a lot of them. But I can't prove that. But it's a weird fucking coincidence. The cavalcade of people who got on the wrong side of Putin who end up dead. Oh yeah, that's that great song. Those are people who died. Those are people who died. That song and the guy's story about that song, because that's all true. Everything he says in that song is true. It's all friends of his who died, all true stories. That guy's story is also the basis of the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, The Basketball Diaries. That's a really old movie. How Basketball Diaries. How long ago did that come out? 95. That's actually slightly older than. Fuck me. Oh, Leo was a baby in that. That's like 30 years ago they shot that. God damn. Time fucking flies. Leo was an absolute baby in that. I don't think I've seen it since the 90s. Actually, I don't know if it holds up. Yeah, Dr. Abigail, like the guy, the singer from the Vandals, wrote that song. The song's all true, and also his life and his stories about his friends is the basis of the movie The Basketball Diaries. So there you go. And the song's in the soundtrack. Oh gosh, that would be hard, Strictly Sega. If you watch that right after one of the mass shootings in the US, that would be. It's like that movie would not. That movie would not get released now. Same as like Heathers, the original Heathers, just wouldn't get made or released today because in the 90s it was like a fantasy, and now it's just a horrible reality. No, it's a whole thing. So, but aren't your secret Russian enemies just your family? Families or in-laws or something? Yeah. But it's weird how America's gone down this fucking rabbit hole of incredibly disturbing mass shootings and nothing happens. Sandy Hook was the tipping point. That's where I stopped caring. I used to be really upset when there were these shootings in America. Sandy Hook, white toddlers killed in a mass shooting and no one fucking cared. Nothing changed. It's like, okay, seriously? If white primary school kids can get murdered en masse and nothing changed, nothing's ever changing. You can do whatever you want. That was it. That was the tipping point for me. It's like, if that can happen, then it's a whole shit show. So I refuse to expend any emotional energy on it. Because fuck it. Okay, strictly Sega, there was a streaming thing of Heathers that was not popular because it actually made marginalized kids the bad guys. As far as I think, it's like queer kids were all the psychos in the streaming thing. I think this because I never watched it, and it certainly never made much penetration in the zeitgeist. But it's just like this clueless tone deaf thing where someone went, "Hey, in the original Heathers, it was the horrible, powerful kids who were fucking everyone over." And there's a parody and said, "Oh, what if we said it's like all the queer kids are in charge?" So you mean the people who are still marginalized and bullied and vilified? You made them the bad guys. It's like you people are fucking idiots. Finished my soda water just in time to go to bed. Honestly, that probably means I'm going to have to get up in the middle of the night and pee. Drinking water right up until bedtime because it's bedtime. Get up and go into the goddamn office unless I feel sick. And I don't think I'm going to. Like I said, because Mrs. Angry's been sick for a week, but doesn't appear to be contagious. I haven't felt bad. Oh, much as I don't like to leave her on her own because I haven't been in the office 3 weeks going. It is cherry time, Safa. You're right. I deliberately had a cherry out. Fucking yum. I fucking love those cherries so much. Protein before bedtime, Justin. Hey, Micro, I do sleep. I'm going to sleep now. Oh, Dr. Abigail, you got medical world things. I got an alarm set for 6:30 a.m. I can wake up and get in the office before it's too late. Eat the cherry. Sorry, this thought just popped into my head that how many of these cherries could I eat before I felt sick? I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste them. They're expensive. And I don't want to waste them in some weird thing to turn me off them because they're just super fucking yummy. I'm going to take this out, leave it in the kitchen. So then Mrs. Angry has some flavored water and orange peel to put in a hot chocolate in the morning. I know, literally, Micro, you scared me off, and I'm going to bed now. I am too. So this is the world. So thank you, fine and fabulous people, for hanging out. Fine way to see out the weekend. But now I'm going to sleepy bobos. And hopefully see you another time. In all probability on Tuesday night. I don't know. There's a lot of variables. That might end up being takeaway night with my offspring. So Tuesday night might happen, might not happen. If it doesn't, I'll probably be back on Thursday night. But we'll see. So you all take care. So how Tim Smith? How Tim Smith do I look? I think I'm about half Tim Smith. So take care, you fabulous people. I will see you another time, hopefully. Until